Alright, how do folks? Just out in the shop doing a little bit of cleanup, and my newly modified mold is finally cooled off enough that I can handle it. So I want to tell you how I just made a mold for 300 rook. As soon as I get this 8mm Mauser out of the way. Alright, so I started off with a Lee 3030 mold. It's the 309 170. I did that because I had an extra one. Well, I didn't have an extra one. I've got a 6 cavity 3030 mold. It's a different design, but I didn't need them both, so I was willing to give this one up. Now, if you're gonna buy a mold to do this with, don't start with the 3030. Start with the 180 grain 308 or 309 C309, whatever. It's the one for the 308. It's a 180 grain bullet. That would be ideal. I have one of those, but I didn't want to give it up, so we did it with the 3030 mold. So as you can see, it's a lot thinner now because I put it in my milling attachment, and I used the lathe and a fly cutter, homemade fly cutter. I'll grab that actually, and I milled it down. Now what I started off doing, if you're familiar with the Lee molds, they're kind of F-shaped, so these handles would have normally been up here. Let's grab one. That's the normal shape of it. So you can see I just have the bottom of it. And being that you can't just make whatever you wanted. I would have liked to have 85 grains, but once I cut it down just below the crimp groove, I didn't have a flat surface, so I had to keep going. Yeah. Let me grab that fly cutter, show you what I had to do. Fly cutter. I could have bought one cheaper. So there really isn't any cost in this, but I had to, again, go buy some tooling to make it work. I had to buy drill bits and taps to tap this out. And of course I bought extras, and anyway, I ended up spending $50. Now, that $50 wasn't just to make this, it was a bunch of other stuff. But if I hadn't have gone and done that, I wouldn't have spent the money. Anyway, you can buy one sort of like this for like 35 bucks off Amazon. But if you look, all I've done is drilled through on an angle. I got 3 set screws to hold it down, and this is a boring bar that I already had. And I chose the boring bar because it's half round stock and it just worked better than this. Anyway, this is what I used to mill that down. And then once I did that, I had no way to attach the handles, so I ended up welding some square stock onto the handles, and then I drilled through them. And if you look on the inside, this is just slightly loose. You can see there's a hole there, and I got it a little too close to one of the pockets. I didn't quite center it up. Anyway, and that screw just goes through into here. It's Loctite in there, and it's a little bit loose, so when it closes up, they can find their happy spot. Yeah, that's all it was. It took me about an hour. And then for the sprue plate, Lee used to use right hand thread, now they use left hand thread. So I didn't have a left hand tap, so I just drilled that out and tapped it for M6. I got the wave washer and then a flat washer because the wave washer is a bit bigger than that head. On there, goes straight through the back, but that's fine. So here is the bullet that it came out of. This is the 180 grain mold, So if you started with 180 grain mold instead of 170 grain, you've got 10 extra grains down at the bottom. So this was 174.2. So you'd end up with 180 grain bullet, just pretty well exactly what you want, or 185 grain bullet. I'll get it right eventually. 85 grain bullet. So that's that. That was, I don't know, an hour of fucking around, and made a decent little bullet. I've got the 32 H&R mag brass on order, and I did up a dozen of these. Threw them in with some 45, 45, 10, and they're wheel weight, water quenched, whatever. You could high tech them. If you don't know what high tech is, this is high tech. It's like a really thin powder coat, basically. That's what's on this one too. I don't use this one anymore because it's getting harder to get. But anyways, that's it for that one. Let's go back to cleaning up my bench here, but I just wanted to show that. You can get a custom mold for, I'm going to say it's going to run you $200 now here in Canada. Or, I know I paid $30 for this. These are actually up to $70 now, a Lee mold. But, go on eBay, go wherever, get yourself a used one, lop it off, and you can cut along that with a hacksaw. Like, you don't have to mill the whole thing down. And I've read that, or I think someone posted that they used a sander to flatten them out. But yeah, so that's my solution to the bullet. All the stuff I had here. The brass, that's a different story. I still don't know if it's going to work, but I think I can run 32 H&R mag brass through a 3220 sizer and end up with a brass that's going to work. But it'll be a couple weeks before I find that out. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll check you on the next video. Have a good night.